we go, boys.
Are we live?
We're live and we're going. Welcome back to another episode of Convo. My name's Davis Bishop. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, my friend.
I'm Sylvester Aikhuele, a.k.a. OJ. You know the vibes.
The juice.
And then long-time veteran of the podcast, Zack Pascual. You know the vibes.
A.k.a.
Kodak, Zack.
The cutest Asian. Is that what you said last time?
Prettiest Asian boy alive.
Something like that. So today we are talking about success and what determines success and what success looks like to young people. We are all young people here, so it's a new perspective. You always hear it from people like older people or in specific careers who say like, oh, I'm successful because, or how to get successful, and it's all kind of generic. But no one really asks us, the young people, what success is. So other than your high school teacher, but that's whack, bro. So do y'all want to go first? Y'all want to go first? I got some people who sent in their responses to what they think success is. I'll go over that in a little bit, but
my idea of success would probably just be like long-term, like wealth, like being able to maintain wealth and being able to like support you and your family.
I mean, success is very opinionated because somebody else's terms or definition for success could be totally different from another person's. But I feel like going off of what Zach says is just self-sustainability, be able to live freely at ease and do what you love in life. Personally, that's how I feel.
That's a good one, doing what you love in life, because that is that's a lot of similarities between the people that I got. But I just jotted down some things here. So success to me is kind of like I want to help other people become competent and successful themselves, and you always hear the phrase of like, if you're around successful people, you'll be successful, or like if you surround yourself with the people that are good, you'll be good. So if you help other people be good and you surround yourself with them, you will be good too. You will be successful. You'll be competent. And competent, I'm going to use that word a lot. Competent means having the ability, the necessary ability, skills, or mindset to get done a specific task or be successful or succeed in doing something. Having the necessary ability to do so. But in other words, I view success as making other people around me more competent and successful, which will lead me to being more competent along with them, thus resulting in success. Success, I think, is the process of building competence. You can build competence alone, but I think it'll be very hard and won't be as sufficient or optimal as having a partner or a group. Also producing a good and competent family, like what y'all are saying, raising being sustainable and having your own. What were you saying, Zach?
I feel like that's just like a different kind of success. So like being able to provide for like you and your family and people who are close to you, like that should be your most important goal. Helping other people out. I feel like where people get lost is they let success get to their head and let it, make them act different and stuff like that.
Yeah, like kind of getting corrupted in the whole money scheme and things. But I think most people our age and in this generation think of success as like being rich and famous, or like becoming famous and getting clout and just clout chasing all their lives, and then never ultimately
finding self happiness.
Yeah. So yeah, I think raising a family in a good and competent way, making the next generation of people, because I mean, you are the previous generation of your other generation, if that makes sense. So like your parents are raising you to be good and competent, right? And being successful. Don't you want to do that for your kids? You know what I'm saying? So like they're just as important, or building a family is just as important as your current status of competence. And I think being rich and famous, I think it will lead to narcissism and just greed and just a shitty life. I also think the idea of what is successful will change throughout your life. For example, this is what one of the people who sent in a comment said, not one of them, but the similarities between the two. So once you achieve the success that you have, like the goal, once you achieve that, and you're like you're never gonna fulfill it because you always have the next step. You always have the next chapter of success.
And that's the thing about like chasing like money and fame is like you're never gonna get to the point where like you have like the maximum. Like you're never gonna be satisfied because there's always gonna be people around you who have more of that than you do. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. So like if you want to be, if you're like, oh, my dream is to be like the most famous person in the world, there's always gonna be somebody who's more famous than you.
Comparison is the root of defeating all happiness. If you can constantly compare yourself to somebody else, you will never be happy with yourself. You're never happy until you self-love yourself. What I learned from when I went through depression.
Okay, so for example, in my personal experience is like my dream of success throughout high school and growing up was like to play college football. And then whenever I got there, I kind of was like, okay, I kind of achieved this. So what's next? And then I kind of realized, I had kind of had like a realization of things of like, this isn't, number one, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. And then again, I was like, I don't necessarily want to do this the rest of my life. And so I changed, my perspective on things changed. And so I think that also changes is your perspective on the goal. Like once you achieve that goal or in the process of achieving that goal, it may change, it may shift. It may alter a little bit. And so I'm going to read some, this is what Will Plott said, Artist Plott. He graduated from NC State last year. He currently, I'm just going to read his text he sent me. What being success, just word for word, just so I don't change up what he says. What being successful means varies from person to person. How you are raised, where you grew up, it all builds your own opinions and everything. For me, being successful is being able to do what you love, like genuinely love. And for all those who have found that, I'm envious as all get out. In other words, he's jealous that people can do what they love already in life. But that's kind of what I've determined being successful to mean. Granted, for a lot of people, doing what you love ends up making you money, and I think that's where the whole money equals success stems from, which I'm not saying making a lot of money doesn't mean you are or are not successful. I just feel that those who really get to do what they love or get to be in environments that they love to be in and day out really find that feeling of success. So in other words, doing what you love in a career will lead to success which will lead to not necessarily success, well that too, but also you'll enjoy doing what you're doing. Let's see here, because that's what he sells to people. He starts talking about it. He talks about a guy named Gary V on Instagram. I'm not really sure who that is, but he says basically, you don't like your job, fuck it, quit it and get a new one, because if you're having a shitty career, you're gonna be miserable all your life.
Why would you substitute doing something that you like actually enjoy doing just because you make more money doing something else? Like, I'd rather make less money doing something that I enjoy doing day in and day out than just suffer
and just try
make
to
like a little bit more money. Ideally, like you can have both. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that is like the ultimate. I think that's
also a little rare though. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
Like most people, a lot of people don't do what they love and make a lot of money doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you love being a teacher, you're not going to make a lot of money doing that, but you're going to love what you do. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's how it should be. Money shouldn't determine happiness, which it never has. The richest man in the world probably goes through the same struggles as we do, but at the same time, if you love something that you do, then you're happy with yourself. Therefore, it leads to just living a better life and not being miserable.
Yeah. I think money only gets you like freedom to do what you want to do in life, and for some people, like that's the definition of success, is being able to do what they want, and you can achieve that through making money. But at the same time, like you can't value that over like what you're putting out for society and like what you do.
Yeah, like being a teacher. If you love being a teacher, you're helping other people, which kind of I think that's kind of like the central theme of being a teacher. It's like you're helping other people. You're helping the next generation of people grow and achieve their success, which makes you happy, which is good. I'm going to continue what Will said. He says, like, I'm 23 and I meet people 2 to 3 years older than me who make good money, and when I tell them I work at a pizzeria, they are just like, why? I say, true, I have a college degree, but I love being around the people I get to be around at my work. I make more than enough money to live, and I still have free time to do what I love, like photography, music, graphic work. Granted, I'm not even my own definition not successful, but I'm getting there, and I've got plenty of time to figure it out. Basically, what I'm saying is stop worrying about trying to be successful so quickly and then getting upset when you're not a millionaire by 30. Mm-hmm. Shit takes time. Enjoy getting there. So yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Is like success is like the process of getting to the success. You know what I mean? Like it's not just one at a mountaintop. Like, oh, I'm successful. I'm here. Yeah. It's like it's the climb up the mountain
it's the progress is the important part.
I have another person, Molly Powell, who goes to UNC Chapel Hill. She says, success to me has nothing to do with career status, or maybe even especially not, that's in parentheses, or status or money. I'm only 19, so I don't have that much experience with any of those three things, but I do know what it feels like to graduate and only thing on my mind being was what's next. And that's exactly what we were just talking about. And how am I going to one up this? I know when I started making decent money at a job for the first time, all I did was spend and think about getting more at the next job. Maybe that's just my mindset, but I think it's the way a lot of society reacts to the process of being successful. Nothing like academics or money or jobs ever leaves me feeling satisfied. We're climbing a mountain that never ends. Exactly. What I do know is that when I'm around the right people talking about things I care about, or even things that don't matter at all, I feel on top of the world. If success is feeling like you've made it, like you're finally on top, to me, it's as simple as finding yourself and surrounding yourself with people that really care. It's healthy, loving relationships, and that's my fulfillment. And so being successful to her basically means surrounding yourself with the right people that love and care about you, and that's really all that matters. And there was a study done at Stanford. It's been a while since I've read this and watched a video on it, but it basically followed 100 kids, which is really interesting. 100 kids, 50 of them were in poverty and 50 of them were in a really well like middle class family, and so they followed them all throughout their life, all throughout college and the military. Some served in World War II. This was back in 1936 and then up to today, and most of them are dead, but I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the concluding factor was having a healthy relationship with those around you and the family members, and having a healthy family will lead to a good life.
So you think that a good life basically would be more important than like how you help other people, or like, because I feel like when you're like people who like chase money and like status and success, they have more control, so they have the ability to affect more people. Yeah. Whereas other people value success as just like their life being happy and fulfilling. So
I think it's kind of.
I guess it's just the way like you look at it. You know
it's subjective. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's all subjective.
But like what she was saying, she was like she's valued finding yourself, like self-realization. But like, what does that mean to you? Yeah, so that's a very broad thing that like a lot of people say like is the root of happiness is finding yourself. But like, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I think that all goes with growing, though. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of complicated on that issue, but I do think solely if you have a healthy and happy family and friends, that will lead to a good life. Like, period. Yeah. That's it. If you have a happy and good family, that's what the concluding factor of that study was. And then, and they also talked about some went through depression. A lot of them went through depression and all this other stuff. But I'm sure whenever they went through depression, they had a lower amount of friends, they had a lower amount of family, they had a lower amount of well-being, they had an increased amount of stress. Like, I'm sure all those things that's what they kind of concluded. And so I think like that's what a good life is based on that. But like I said, it's all subjective. And I think the process of getting to the goal that you have is where you find kind of the balance of happiness and stress and
the medium.
Yeah, the badness that happens. Text energy.
Something like
It's
this.
good. You got anything to say?
I mean, y'all basically covered it, but I'm just feeding off what y'all say. From my grandfather always told me is it's okay to be a copycat. Well, from what my grandfather has told me is that it's okay to be a copycat as long as you're following the right cat. So, meaning that if you find somebody that's actually successful and actually doing the right things, it's okay to copy their technique or what they do to make them so successful but the thing about doing that is in all of that, you have to find what works best with you. And that's the same thing with success. Like he's saying, success is subjective and very opinionated. So from what another person believes is successful could be a whole nother definition to you. So if you find the common ground and find the median between those two, there you go. You find self-happiness.
Yeah, I think. What was I gonna say, man? What was I gonna say, dude? I just forgot. Go ahead and what you were gonna say, Zach.
Yeah, like back to what OJ was saying, basically like
Oh, I remember.
if everyone around you is happy, then you really have no choice but to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta surround yourself, and I think role models, like your grandpa did. That's what I was saying. Your role models are what drive you to be successful. So, like, if you look up to somebody that's not successful, the likelihood is you're not going to be successful. And successful probably comes with a lot of factors and attributes.
I feel like
and that's what you see in what's the word I'm looking for? Impoverished neighborhoods. People that are that come from humble beginnings and that are very poor, not as well fortunate as others. Is that every day that they see the most successful guy is somebody that drives a BMW up and down the street and sells drugs. They think they think that's being successful because that from what they see is that's the only way they see how to get out of the situation they're in. So when you blame somebody that's a drug dealer doing what he does, you don't see the bigger picture and put yourself in his shoes and see the fact that he's only doing that because that's all he knows. Or playing basketball.
He looked up to people who were doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So that.
It's a chain reaction.
But, what do you think is a way to like try and counteract that and get people to like look up to actual like good role models? You know what I'm saying? Like it has to start somewhere, obviously, and it's a chain reaction.
And that's why a lot of NFL players, people that are successful, go back to neighborhoods like that and show them that there's a another route.
Not everybody can be an NFL player.
Exactly, but there's other routes. There's other routes of being successful. You don't have to be a dope boy.
People in general should just start looking up to like more realistic like goals of success and stuff like that, and realize like you don't have to be like this huge like rich famous like any of that. Like as long as like you're happy with yourself and what you do and you're able to make the people around you happy, then you're gonna be fine regardless. Because like.
That's exactly what Will was saying. Is at his work, he works at a pizzeria, and you know that you may look at that and say like, oh, that's not very successful. Like that's not what I want to be and do, and like that's obviously not very satisfying.
That's just like the traditional.
But what he says is the people he works with are what make him stay there and what make him happy and keep going. And along with that is he makes fine money. Like he has a house, he has a living conditions, he has food on the table, he has a car. Like he's perfectly fine. He's happy with what he's doing right now, and if that's success, then he's satisfied doing that. And I think a lot of people are like that, but I think it's the people who are out in front of the camera and who are famous that people can look up to, because there's a lot of people kind of like behind the brick wall or behind the shadow or behind the curtain that are just as successful as they are. They're just not publicized.
Like in this day and age, like fame and like recognition gets associated with success. When at the end of the day, there's a bunch of people out there who are very successful who like nobody knows about just because they're
behind the scenes.
Too many people, I think, look up to like musician, like famous musicians.
And those are rare cases.
But
for the most part.
And they just want money.
And people that want to be rappers, be in the industry, or Instagram models or Instagram influencers, is that they don't see the work that they put in to get to where they are. Okay, it didn't happen overnight. They didn't just wake up one morning and say, "Hey, I want to start an Instagram, and hopefully my Instagram starts booming," and it does. It doesn't work like that. People that are YouTubers, they've been doing this for years. They put time and effort. So for people that get discouraged halfway through the journey of finding success, you need to learn that success doesn't happen overnight. It's something that takes work.
That's the process to the success.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Everybody who's at the top, like,
It's not a
they have a
straight
story.
line.
They have a story behind them.
Likely they put in the most work. And there's a little luck involved with it. There's other factors, most definitely, but the work.
Work was done for them to get to where they are.
All right. Let's look back. About 5 more minutes. Let's look back on our own lives and kind of say, like, 5 years ago, what did you see yourself being, and are you successful now compared to 5 years ago?
Compared to what I was thinking of success
I
was?
guess so. Yeah, sure.
Okay, 5 years from now, 5 years ago, I thought I was probably going to be my second year in college, which technically I am. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but all I know is that I was just going to figure it out and find something that I like. But
has that came yet?
No, I'm still in the process of trying to find out what I want to be.
With that, though. Like,
but I'm in college and I'm studying to be a mechanical engineer. But still, right now, I don't know if that's for certain. If that's something I want to do, I enjoy what I do and I enjoy doing it. But at the end of the day, I can't see myself doing it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, like once you're in the process of achieving your goal. You know, once you almost get to that goal, you may be like, oh, snap, I'm taking a detour. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking another route. I'm going a different way. But that still doesn't change the fact that you're still successful, because once you're taking a step forward or 2 steps forward or 3 steps forward, that's technically successful, because success is kind of like a process. It's not necessarily like a tip of a mountain.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people like get discouraged because sometimes they don't see the results that they expect to see. But at the end of the day, and like a lot of people probably feel a lot of pressure. Most people do, to just be successful every day and try their best to be successful. But like you have to realize, like he was saying earlier, like it's a long process. But at the same time, like we have a lot of time to figure things out.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot of people like overstress themselves, and like in the process, they're like not enjoying their life, which is the most important part to me. So
yeah. All right, anything else?
Where we at?
We're at 23 minutes.
yeah, that was solid.
I felt like we were talking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it goes by a little fast. All right, this is your chance to sign, people. You got to tell us what is your definition of success, and are you successful now compared to how you were earlier in life? You know, what's going on? How are you doing now? Like I said, what do you see success being? Is it money and fame, or is it a happy life, or is it, you know, just living life to the fullest? Like, what is it? So this is where you come in hand. Send it to convo.vt at gmail.com, or just leave it in the comments. Do what you got to do.
Make sure you like and subscribe. That's number one before you do any of that stuff he was just talking about.
Hashtag think for yourself, people. All right? Don't let society tell you what to think. Take their considerations or opinions into consideration.
With a grain of salt.
Yeah, but form your own
Think
opinion,
for
people.
yourself.
Be happy by yourself. All right. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Convo. My name is Davis Bishop. This is
OJ, a.k.a. Sylvester Aikhuele.
Kodak Zack, the prettiest Asian boy in the game.
all right. That's it. We're out.